Recording.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, people on YouTube. And welcome back to William in Japan. Today you join me on my trusty little CB250R on the Metropolitan highway of Tokyo. So today is Monday, and it's lunchtime right now. But look at the weather. How can you not enjoy a bit of this autumn sunshine and stay indoors all day? So I decide I won't be getting lunch and bring you guys on a really quick ride on this Tokyo Metropolitan Expressway highway and show you around of Tokyo. So the Tokyo Metropolitan Expressway is actually built in 1964 for the last Tokyo Olympics, which was, quick count, 2021, 57 years ago. So back then, Tokyo is actually really crowded already. And the government does not have a lot of land to build a whole new highway system right inside their capital. So they actually came up with a really wise idea of building these highway networks on top of rivers. Right, like that over there. That is actually a river. And underneath us, back then, basically there is no land. And they built these kind of highway systems all over rivers inside Tokyo. For the good part, the government doesn't need to ask for people to give up their land and tear down buildings and build a highway over it. In the bad side, well, it depends on who you're asking. For me, it's a good side. Since it's built over rivers, there are a lot of fun, tight corners on this expressway. So if you're doing inside speed limits, and you can actually enjoy some tight, fast corners legally. The Tokyo Metropolitan Expressway highway is actually a really fun road to test bikes when you're looking for a new one. So that's basically what I do every single time. This highway is marked number 1, and it connects Haneda Airport to the center of Tokyo. And there will be a junction in front of us, which brings us to C1, which is basically circular number 1. It is the most inside ring of the Metropolitan Expressway. And taking that ring is just around 15 to 20 minutes. Since it is a Monday today, I bet there will be some traffic. But if you go out on a more later in the night or on weekends when the commercial district is not as crowded, you can actually have a really fun time. The bad part is, of course, you need to pay. And sometimes if you're riding a motorcycle and you're not as confident, there are blind corners. And when we're going at these speeds, for beginners, that might not be a good idea. But for myself, I'm pretty familiar with this road, so I do take out a quick spin from time to time. And as we speak, we're heading into Circular 1 in just a bit. You can see on that sign, you can go counterclockwise or clockwise. Today we are going counterclockwise. Brake a bit. Nobody behind us. Very good. So some of you may ask, how can a little bike, a 250cc, stay with speed on a highway? So in Japan, highway systems are really narrow. As you can see, there's only 2 lanes. And if you go to other areas, there's actually only 1 lane. So you're not going fast anywhere. And so for bikes like this, you can, without much stress, you can definitely keep up with everybody else. And the speed limit in Japan is just so weird. This expressway, yes, it has a lot of blind corners and it is narrow. I think that's the reason. But it's only limited to 60 kilometers an hour. It's barely a highway, in my opinion. And I guess that's the reason why everybody's going over the speed limit. If I go too slow, I might be actually being honked from behind me. So anyways, we'll just keep up with everybody's speed and head as everyone goes. And as mentioned earlier, this is the most inner circle of the Metropolitan Expressway system. Highway system, sorry. So it really goes through the most important parts of Tokyo. It wraps around the Imperial Palace and heads to Ginza, Shinagawa, Shinjuku. All of these places that you might have heard abroad. So if you come to Tokyo and you have a chance to rent a bike, and you're still wondering if you should take a bike or you should take the train, I will definitely actually say taking the bike is actually cheaper from time to time. Yes, if you get a huge bike that takes a lot of fuel, that may not be the case. But if you're riding something like a 250, as I am right now, it's actually pretty cheap to go around Tokyo instead of going on trains, which can actually pile up pretty fast. And if you want some fun, definitely try riding this around 11 o'clock at night. There won't be a lot of traffic, and you can definitely have fun on the corners. These are all really high speed sweeping corners, and it's definitely fun to have it on a super sport or even a super bike. And for those who are watching this video right now that have played Gran Turismo, the game on PlayStation, that corner we just passed, you might have some memories about it actually. Gran Turismo actually has a circuit that is based on this very Metropolitan Expressway. So those corners are actually all in the game. And the road signs are actually all in the same position as well. So it's pretty cool if you ever are a fan of the Gran Turismo games. You can find a lot of similarities. If you played what was it called in the game? Sorry, it doesn't come out of my mind. I didn't play that game as much, but I am for sure there are 2 or 3 tracks that is based on this highway system. So we're heading into these tunnel systems, and I believe Ginza is right on our left and above us. Let this guy go first. Oh, we'll have to head left anyways, so let's head back to the left lane. And now we had just passed Akihabara and Ginza, and now we're heading to Ueno. So if you're pretty familiar with the geographics of Tokyo, you might find these names really familiar because these are the big stations on the Yamanote line that most tourists get off and on when they're having fun in Tokyo. Oh, nice corner, man. God, this is nice. Brake a bit. Take it nice and slow. Yeah, unfortunately, we have a lot of traffic today. Otherwise, this is such a fun highway. See, speed limit is 50 kilometers an hour. Can you even believe that? Oh, and we are just over Nihonbashi right now. It is the 0 point for the whole road system, not just highway, the road system of Japan. So if you head out to other areas of Japan and you see, let's say 250 kilometers from Tokyo, that Tokyo point is right under us, where the position when we just passed. That is called Nihonbashi, which is Japan Bridge. And I think it's one of the oldest modern bridges ever built in Japan. It connects the Edojo and now the Imperial Palace, so Edo Castle, to the outer areas outside of the castle. Nope. We have a police car behind us. I don't think he's getting through that anytime soon. So in Japan, there's actually there's a very good chance to actually explain it to you guys. In Japan, nobody stops when the siren is sounding like that. For ambulance or police officers alike. It is because we don't have any space between us. Yeah, you see on our left, there really isn't a lot of space for us to make for the police officers to go through between us. So we usually just keep heading straight and find space until go ahead until we find space that we can let them through. Of course, if there's a chance, go ahead and let these emergency vehicles pass through you first. But it's really hard in somewhere so tight and so packed. So on our left, on front, I guess, those trees, I believe that's the Imperial Palace right there. We will get a better look when you get closer. Sorry for my phone call. I'll get that a bit later. Alright, gonna go left here. Sorry, dude. Okay, and now we are heading to Kasumigaseki, which is the central government area of Japan. You'll find the Prime Minister, all the welfare ministers, all the big names basically, all around this area. And on our left is the Imperial Palace. Do you see that? It's really, really hard to believe that the Emperor is still living right inside there when you pass through it every single day. But unfortunately, they don't open up to the public as much I would hope they will, since when they do open, it's always crowded and you have to queue in line for so long that I never actually had the chance to go in there yet. And these are the canals actually protecting Edo Castle, Edo Castle, back in the Edo period. And now it protects the Imperial Palace. But hey, in modern days, it doesn't really make any difference, does it? But heck of a sight. So, just for a reminder, I did mention in my first video on this CB250R. But again, most people that watches my channel is for the Ducati Supersport, so I'll give you a quick introduction of this little bike. So abroad outside Japan, this bike is the CB300R. It has been stroked out to a 286cc, which with the same bore, so it has a little bit more capacity. So why, you may ask, that this bike in Japan is a 250? It's really because of the Japanese system of tax and vehicle inspections and license. So first of all, let's go with tax. Under 250, this bike is still counted as a medium-sized vehicle. But I think that's up to 400. I may need to check again. But anyways, this bike comes under the medium-sized vehicle, so it is not taxed as hard as my Ducati. Second of all, this bike, since it's under 250, it does not require a 2-year vehicle inspection that happens to all bikes, all vehicles that are used. So if you have something at 250 cc's or more, you are entitled to that inspection, which means you cannot do a lot of modifications to your bike. If you have a complete system and a power commander, you're basically out. You won't pass that inspection. There are some slip-ons that are available to pass the vehicle inspection. It's called JMCA certified. But for full systems, that's really hard. But again, some Akropovich systems actually did get the JMCA certification. So, hey, you still have a chance to get really, really cool pipes anyways. So, if you ride a 250, you're not entitled to that. So you can do all sorts of modifications, anything you like. Of course, if you get stopped by police on the road and it's illegal modification, you might get in trouble. But it's not like every single policeman has a volume machine. That's weird. Basically a machine to check your DBs. It's not like they have it all around them, and they're not certified as well. So usually, if you have a full system on these kind of little motorcycles, nothing will go wrong. And if you want to switch up, let's say, the mirrors like I did, you won't need to go through that vehicle inspection, so they don't need to check how much area it has, if it comes in, does it protrude outside your identified vehicle width, and so on. So having a 250 is really, really easy for people to have fun on your bikes. So as a second bike and for a commuter like what I'm using it for right now, it is the perfect CC to have in Japan. And that's why people don't like to have something over 250, especially when something is only a 286cc. It doesn't really give you that much of a benefit. And the same goes to the Rebel 300, CBR 300, and also, what other does it go? Oh yes, the Ninja 400 as well. All the machines that I just mentioned all have a 250 version in Japan. And for Honda bikes, the 500 is a 400 in Japan, and the 300 are all 250 in Japan. And all really is based because of the license, vehicle inspection, and tax systems that is put upon us. Cool, dude. I'm not sure if that helmet is legal, though. Anyways, personal choices, I guess. Lots of phone calls today. My apologies. And yeah, we're actually around, this is Shibakoen. We're actually almost one loop inside Tokyo now. And as you can see, people do lane split here. Again, it is a gray area. It's never okay or not okay to do that, but as long as white dash lines or white solid line, people will go over it, and basically, usually nothing, they won't get ticketed. Alright, since we're going to come down to a stop, basically, the traffic is really bad, I'm going to call the video out for now. And thanks for joining me on this really, really quick spin around Tokyo. I'm going to head down to where we started and go home and continue working. Alright, this is William, and see you next time. Bye-bye.